Between the kinetically engaging gameplay, the exceptionally niche Disney references, the unsettling edge to its level design and story, and the reintroduction of one of Disney's most hidden-away characters, it is no doubt that the original Epic Mickey video game remains to be some of Disney's best to this day. Even almost 15 years later, with the release of Epic Mickey 2, The Power of Two, Epic Mickey Power of Illusion, and even the recently released remaster, Epic Mickey Rebrushed, fans are still clamoring for more. But here's the thing. We were supposed to get more. Much, much more. To assist with a quick recap of the cancelled Epic Mickey projects that we know about thus far, I invited Did You Know Gaming's very own Liam Robertson. Take it away, Liam.
Thanks, Shish. In my video, I went over a variety of unreleased projects linked to Epic Mickey, as well as content that was cut and changed from the games that were released. One of those games that never saw the light of day was a title centering around Donald Duck, named Epic Donald. This was being pitched by UK studio Blitz Games in partnership with Junction Point in 2012. The game would have been a 3D puzzle platformer featuring Duckburg as a hub world and Donald travelling through space and time on all kinds of different adventures. This was revealed to me by Chase Jones, Epic Mickey's lead designer, who I spoke to throughout my research. In 2024, a YouTube user named Pleasant Gradient uploaded a handful of gameplay videos showing a prototype of it in action, which were originally recorded by Blitz for their pitch to Disney. These demonstrated some of the planned time travel and co-op elements. Another planned spin-off was Epic Disney Racers, a kart racer that Chase Jones told me was inspired by Mario Kart. Junction Point had built driving mechanics into Epic Mickey 2's Autopia area, which served as a testbed for this new concept. Art was created for the game showing Disney characters planned to be playable, such as Cruella de Vil and Scrooge McDuck. An Epic Mickey title inspired by the Olympics was also being conceptualized around this time, featuring Hercules and Maleficent. All of these, however, never moved forward, amid managerial shakeups at Disney, who was losing faith in traditional console games. Junction Point instead focused on getting Epic Mickey 2 over the finish line, while mapping out early plans for Epic Mickey 3. According to Chase Jones, this would have seen Mickey and Oswald exploring the cartoon world and interacting with more recognizable Disney characters. They were planning to introduce more wide-open sandbox-style level design as well, as the series moved on to more powerful next-gen hardware. Concept art and other documents existed for the project, but Disney Interactive declined to greenlight it following a series of expensive failed projects from other studios. They shut Junction Point down shortly after releasing Epic Mickey 2, and that was that. If you want to learn more about these cancelled projects and lots more information on the unseen side of the series and why it fell apart, check out my video on the Did You Know Gaming channel, Disney's Epic Mickey series and its many cancelled games. Now back over to you, Shish.
Thanks, Liam! Now here's the real kicker. We thought that those were all of the cancelled Epic Mickey projects, but we, at the Lost Media Busters, have encountered another, a cancelled MMO game. Known to some as Epic Mickey Online, but known to most as Epic History, me and a group of talented others managed to uncover lots of never-before-seen content from this game. But before we get there, we have to start from the beginning. It all started with Discord user Ender on the Epic Mickey themed Discord server Wasteland, posting this on October 3rd, 2022. The photo, attached from an unknown LinkedIn description, describes a bevy of information about Epic Mickey 2, but then, as you make your way closer to the bottom, it says the following.
Participated in production of an iOS game that would bridge the events of Epic Mickey 2 to 3, a casual free-to-play MMO, as well as managed approvals by Disney Corporate Brand Management for Epic Mickey-related projects.
This dropped into the server in 2022, and no one saw or gave it any attention. Moving on from this though, at some point after this, Epic Mickey Wiki user DJ Springtrap uploaded various images to the wiki, and none of them particularly looked like anything from any of the released Epic Mickey games. One was of a skyscraper with a rainbow, another contained a car but looked to be a horizontal display, almost 2D compared to the 3D maps of the Epic Mickey games previously, and a third image that contained the book cover with source for Mickey and various other miscellaneous photos. On August 5th, 2024, Discord user Oswarudo noticed these pictures on the wiki and conducted a reverse image search to find the source that DJ Springtrap used to see these photos. Because we will soon be diving into the findings of those associated with the game, the LMB have decided to keep all of the names from the game's development undisclosed to respect the privacy of those involved. For this reason, each person will be listed as an alias, unrelated to their real name. So, after a bit of digging, Oswarudo soon discovered Aardvark's portfolio. Oswarudo noticed that on the artist's resume, the artist wasn't credited for any of the Epic Mickey games, meaning that all of this concept art had to have come from a different title entirely. This concept art includes pictures of a factory setting with many Disney undertones, an evil blot-infested version of Snow White's cottage, another unknown 2D level, a blot-infested version of the Sorcerer Mickey cover we saw earlier, and the inside of Seven Dwarfs Mine. On August 22nd, 2024, Springtrap posted about finding Aardvark's LinkedIn account. This was arguably the most significant discovery so far, as Aardvark's page would lead us to find out that he worked on Epic History from 2010 to September 2012. This was accompanied by a picture we had never seen before, and a description of Disney's Epic History, which reads,
"The game includes the lovable characters of the past, along with the new villains. Go for Launch Productions designed sets, props, and characters for the game."
This discovery not only allowed us to see what the game looked like with near-finished designs, but also led us to find the production company associated with the title. Upon further research, I discovered that Go for Launch was the leading animation studio behind Planet Sheen and Back at the Barnyard. This discovery was the catalyst we needed to finally begin the search for what we could now identify as Epic History. On the same day as this massive finding, by looking through Go for Launch's production reel, Oswarudo found even more concept art. The previously found concept material was undoubtedly associated with this mysterious Epic History game. This material was our first look at the game in action from Duck's ArtStation account. This footage involved Oswald walking in a different and simpler style than the Epic Mickey main title games, and a weird Beetleworks enemy being hit and killed. Springtrap would then mention that Tinkerbell model sheets were found on the Art of Disney Fairies Tumblr page. This Tumblr page mentions Epic Mickey, and the pages mentioned Go for Launch. With more research, Oswarudo found a description from another LinkedIn account that mentioned the game under a different name, Epic Mickey Online. The studio, Space Face in Westlake Village, California, was also mentioned. The next day, Springtrap made a groundbreaking discovery that would triumph over all previous findings, a 5-minute-long playthrough presentation of an early build of the game, which I can't help but think is very close to Toontown Online, another popular MMO. We won't show the whole video here, but it will be linked in the description. It gives an excellent idea of just how in-depth the work on this game was before things ultimately got canned. On September 22nd, roughly 1 month after the discovery of the presentation, Springtrap found an animation reel by Beaver that contains even more content from the cancelled game. Most notably, it was found that a rabbit may have had a role as a customizable avatar you could choose. This had been the best look we had had at the different avatars of the game up to this point. 3 days later, Discord user Oz discovered a humongous amount of concept sketches, or rather rediscovered, as this Epic Mickey art had actually been found at the beginning of 2023 by Reddit user Toad Karigi, who had uploaded it to the Disney Epic Mickey subreddit. They initially believed, as did many of us, that it wasn't from an unknown unreleased entity in the series, but rather part of one of the main titles. But again, Oz had a very high reason to believe that all of these found by the Reddit user were from this cancelled game. And sure enough, 2 days later on September 27th, they found over 15 new pieces of what was likely from the same collection that ended up being sold on eBay and being found by the Reddit user to begin with. All of the concept art is seen here, giving us the best look we've seen yet at what different species were available to be chosen in the game. The rabbit, the horse, the cat, and the duck. It's unknown how far the game was into development, so these could have been just an early exploration of the different species they could have gone with in the final release. However, based on the early presentation video, it can be determined that the horse, the rabbit, and the wolf were the top choices when they went further into the development of the game. Between the 5-minute long video and this concept art, some might be wondering how I, Shishagumi, was thrown into the mix of this stuff. It all started on September 24th, when a dear friend of mine, Loch Ness Lycan,
Hey, wait a minute, that's me.
informed me on the cancelled MMO and shared with me the Epic History's own page that had been published onto the Epic Mickey Wiki by DJ Springtrap themselves. Immediately, I was stunned to find out about this barely discussed cancelled game, as quite literally, besides the select few I've mentioned, barely anyone else has ever discussed it, so I knew I wanted to help. And to me, a YouTube video was the perfect way to do it. But, to properly execute this, I reached out first to Springtrap in the attempt to create a group chat with the rest of the people who had found stuff so far, in order to combine our efforts in finding more from this cancelled game. Springtrap then informed me on everything I've now told you, and finally, a group chat was formed on October 1st. From there, Oswarudo shared their research on Go for Launch Productions pages. Now, we skip to October 8th, when Twitter user Ben sent in a suggestion to the Lost Media Busters Twitter to cover the cancelled mobile game Kingdom Hearts Fragmented Keys from Disney Interactive. And as it turns out, Go for Launch Productions was mentioned. Noticing the mention, I brought up to Ben how insane the timing was for him to suggest that we post that. To mention it briefly here, a Kingdom Hearts mobile game was also being developed around the same time as Epic History. None of the search group knew how much had been found from the game until Ben shared with us a forum post from the website KH13 discussing how a myriad of concept art had been dropped from the game onto Go for Launch's official website. Roughly 2 pages worth. And just like that, a light bulb appeared above my head, and I wondered if the website had art from Epic History too. So, after inviting Ben to our team, I booted up the Wayback Machine, and sure enough, less than 10 minutes later, I found the biggest batch of concept art we've got of the game thus far. Insanely enough, it was all from Go for Launch's official website. Here, we see more concept art that was new to us, including colorized versions of the Avatar characters like Oswald in an adorable pirate outfit, and a whole new look at a different stage. While this stage was seen briefly in other real videos from Go for Launch and various other artists, we haven't had nearly as clear of a good look at it until now. Another neat aspect of this were the multiple pieces of concept art featuring Peter Pan and Captain Hook, some even appearing to be filled with blots. This seemed most interesting to me because while the Peter Pan and Captain Hook ship level was shown in the video that we've seen before, certain images resembled the look of a cutscene, which we had not. Sure enough, only minutes later, I then found another page on the same studio website that did indeed show storyboards for a complete cutscene of the game featuring Peter Pan, Captain Hook, and the Lost Boys on the ship, potentially made to play before you fought Captain Hook in a boss fight. So, for the first time ever, I present to you that entire cutscene.
You've done it now, Hook! Peter Pan? Whoa! You can't win, Hook! Huh? What the? Another world is mine.
But that's not all. There was another cutscene titled The Blots Are Coming, which to us seemed to be a mini-sequence featuring the Blots taking over the London Tower from, yet again, Peter Pan. With these various cutscenes, it's clear to us that this might not have been as simple of a playthrough experience as something like Toontown Online or Club Penguin was. There might have been a legitimate continuous story going on. Another mysterious aspect of all of this was how all of this art randomly appeared in early 2015 on Go for Launch's website, but then, by May, it was all removed. At least someone was wise enough to post the pages onto the Wayback Machine before they were thought to have been wiped for good. We've learned a lot of information from all the stuff we've found thus far. The fact that at least 5 studios developed this game, Go for Launch being the most prominent, along with Tri-Labyrinth, Studio EX, Spaceface, and even Disney Interactive. The fact that the game was pitched to Disney Interactive and seemingly greenlit for a period. And of course, everything we've concluded from the enormous amount of concept art. Overall, it got pretty far into production from the looks of it. I believe it was far from being finished, but there was a lot of concept art and development done for this game, and we're not even entirely sure if it even got greenlit to begin with. All this could have been just for a pitch. A lot is still unknown, but what better time to inform the world about this new Lost Media search than now? It's exciting, and hopefully, with some more progress in the search, we can come out with part 2, showcasing even more stuff that we found. And maybe, one day, we'll get a build of the game, even if it's an early one, released into the world for everyone to enjoy. This has been Shishagumi from the Lost Media Busters, and until next time, keep on searching.